very warm welcome to you. It is the second stage of the Tour of Turkey, the presidential tour indeed. Today we go from Alanya to Antalya, 153 kilometers in total. A beautiful part of the world, as you can see. And the weather yet again has graced us. A light breeze, not hampering us too much. And yes, let's just hope that everyone stays safe today. It wasn't the case yesterday, of course. We did have a few, well, more than bumps and bruises, I'm afraid to tell you. And in fact, the winner of the beauty sprint of Turkey, a non-starter today, I'm afraid to tell you. Broken arm it was for Frédéric Robert. And so, yes, an awful lot more serious than we at first thought, I'm afraid to tell you. Well, today it's about the escapees once again, and Alexander Vinokurov of Astana is kind of keeping it success-wise within the family, you might say. Yes, after Iglinski did the business in the Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Vinokurov determined to do something again as team principal, you might say, for Astana, and the 38-year-old part of a five-man escape that are up the road today. Vinokurov, Laurent Pichon, Paolo Locatelli of Colnago, the young 22-year-old, Laszlo Bedrogi of Team Type 1, Mr. Time Trial, always a good man and a good skill to have for an escape, setting the tempo as he has been doing. Matteo Fedi as well of United Healthcare is here too. And there are our five. The Turkish Beauty's Prime at Aspendos. Just coming up, 57 kilometers to go then, with 4 minutes and 55 the gap. It's been a little bit more than that. We were sort of nudging over the 6-minute mark, but it's come back down and is at that sort of holding place, you might say. But there is quality up front, and with the likes of Vinokurov, who's got big ambitions coming into this one, you know, just make sure you don't take these guys too lightly. There's Laszlo Bedrogi, formerly Hungarian, now races for France. He's got an amazing World Time Trial Championship record, by the way. Third in 2000, fifth in 01, fourth in 02, second to Cancellara, the first of his victories in 2007. And Bedrogi, you know, not at all afraid to just take it on. And you can see his big powerhouse. He looks a bit like Cancellara from the rear end, I might add. Matteo Fedi, also here from United Healthcare, formerly with Colnago. 23 years of age. And yeah, 10th on stage 2 of the Coppi e Bartali as well, so he's been enjoying himself. Aspendos, on one of the amazing Roman theatres that still exists in this part of the world. Catacombs at the back, and of course ruins of many a civilization, of which there have been plenty in this part of the world. So a glorious backdrop for us. I'm not sure. Well, we've got some pictures for you, I believe, from Maxim Iglinski's efforts yesterday in the Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Everybody here wanted to know the details of it, and indeed the Astana team, of course, keeping big tabs on that. With 56 kilometers to go then, and 4 minutes and 55, Cameron Meyer. Green Edge disappointed yesterday. We'll have more on that in just a moment. So, Maxim Iglinski, it was yesterday. Poor old Vincenzo Nibali. He was up and looking like he was going to take this one. Didn't quite work out for him. Iglinski never gave up, and that's a huge quality in this game. And Iglinski taking the line. And, of course, more than delighted with his achievement. Well, I just wanted to catch up with Nibali and then go on with him, but my team director told me he was exhausted. And so I decided to go on the attack, he says. I was myself very, very tired, but anyway, I tried to attack, and I just kind of pushed through the fatigue, if you like. I gave it everything I possibly could, he said, pushing as much as I could for the victory. And finally it came. Iglinski delighted, Astana equally so, and it's kind of spurred on Vinokurov in Turkey to do more himself. Guido Bontempi, the sporting director of Astana. Well, it was totally unexpected. We were aiming to have a decent week, winning 2 races out of 3 with those 2 riders and 2 different riders. It was something that's never happened, because normally riders aiming for Amstel were competing as well in the Flèche Wallonne and Liège, and we managed to win 2 different riders. It's unbelievable. Iglinski's victory replaces what Vinokurov used to accomplish in one-day races, and give a first great win to a great rider in on a classic such as this. As Iglinski, as he says, it's kind of hard for him, I think, to separate his emotions, and indeed his congratulations. Gasparotto then doing it at the Amstel Gold Race last Sunday. Yeah, a week like this for a Astana team is, yeah, at times like this, you know, what can we do? We've had our Vinokurov era. What's happening now? Well, it's unique and wonderful for me personally. It's absolutely unbelievable. In a week, I won the Amstel. I'm 3rd at the Liège, and I just couldn't really ask more of myself, he says. There you go. It's the place to be at the moment. Astana seems to have it all. Question is, how will they go today on the Tour of Turkey? Well, with 54 kilometres to go, 4 minutes and 40 is the gap. And there, the beauty sprint. It's got a curse on it at the moment. Laszlo Bedrogi taking it today, 5 points with Fedi the 3 there, as you can see. No time bonuses, no bonifications then for the intermediate sprints along the way today. And as you can see, it's kind of a rolling day today, thank goodness. We decided ourselves to get on the bikes today, but the transfer rather long. We're going to be doing that this evening along the coastal road here. Some spectacular views with the mountains behind. It's a lovely backdrop. I think Brian Smith is thinking about going to those mountains. I'll be taking it easy and sort of cruising along and holding an ice cream if you want to pick me out amongst the crowd this evening. So with 54 kilometres to go, 4 minutes and 40 is the gap. A handy escape up front. I think we're heading for a sprint finish once again, and there's plenty of guys disappointed yesterday after the tumbles who really want to make their mark today. Making his mark every single day is, of course, Brian Smith. He's sitting here, not looking overly chipper, desperate to get on the bike. Brian, we've got the weather.
Yeah, definitely have the weather, and as you can see, Andrei Graipo for Lotto is the water carrier today, taking his teammate's bottles. He was
Welcome back. Apologies, I might add. We've got a few sound issues today, and so we're kind of bumping into the brakes just a little bit. We're not hearing the counts, so just bear with us on this glorious day in the Tour of Turkey. We'll just keep blathering, and you know, we'll get along. Getting along very nicely are these 5 guys up front. They're doing a superb job at the moment. Vinokurov, probably the man who's taking most of a break. He's at the back at the moment and has been there for quite a while. 38 years of age, though, let's not forget. And back from that broken femur. There he is, just popping out. Yeah, back from that broken femur on the Tour de France in 2011. I remember his entire team was so shocked by it. The leg was really in a nasty way, let's put it that way. He announced his retirement. We weren't expecting to see him back, but, you know, he said, I just like riding my bike. And at 38 years of age, he's clearly got some ambition. And off the back of what has been done by his team in the Classics this last week, then, you know, he probably feels that as the figurehead, very much so, of that outfit, he just doesn't want to give up quite yet. He wants to stay around success and maybe add a little bit of that to it himself, Brian Smith.
Yeah, you can't, you know, especially in these temperatures, you know, it's a good preparation for the races that he wants to ride. He's made it known that he wants to do the Tour de France for a final time, and that's why he's in the breakaway. He's coming here and preparing. There's a question mark over him whether, you know, tomorrow with the mountaintop finish, he would maybe, you know, keep his powder dry for that, but no, he's here for preparation. This is a good breakaway. At the front, we've got Pichon or Britain Schuler, a good strong rider. We've talked about Vinokurov just behind, as we see Bedrogi taking his musette and taking it perfectly. You grab it nearest the bag, because if you grab it too high, the handle snaps and you lose your feet. So Bedrogi just taking his feed bag in the left-hand side. But yeah, this is a good breakaway. The maximum they got was just over 5 minutes. There is 50 kilometres to go, 4 minutes and 13 seconds. The bunch are going to have to go something because of the strength of this breakaway. I know there's only 5 riders, but there's strong 5 riders, and this could be you know, a last 5 kilometres when they are being brought back into the fold. But you were right, Carlton, there's too many people disappointed from yesterday. There's Kittel, especially the Germans, Kittel and Greipel, and I'm pretty sure you'll see these guys wanting to sprint out. Yesterday was a difficult stage. As we know, a lot of riders never get the chance to ride a day or 2 days before this event. They were coming from various different events throughout the world, coming over here, and the bikes weren't here, you know, for them to get a chance to ride in. So yesterday was pretty much a kind of promenade day for them to find their legs. Okay, everybody's really a bit fresher towards the finish, and that's why we got everybody rushing towards the front, very messy, and we had that big crash. Very different today. A lot of riders will have found their legs, and you know, the big teams will want to try and control it. But when it comes to the finish, you expect the teams at the front, Omega Pharma, Farnese Vini, Rabobank, and you know, the sprinters teams that missed out yesterday.
I think so. Andrea Gardini, who's the best placed of Farnese Vinis, he was supposedly going to do something special yesterday, 24th. He actually kind of wobbled through the pack, I think you might say, that were mostly on the ground. It was the barriers, thankfully, that took most of the damage yesterday. Although, of course, as we've already mentioned, I'm not sure whether we were with you at the time because of our sound problems at the beginning. Frederic Robert, broken arm yesterday. He's one of our non-starters today. Cabello Baena just relaying back after a puncture by the looks of things, perhaps, is our guess. Theo Boss suffered a puncture earlier on today. Very magnanimous, Theo, yesterday after his victory. I think possibly just knowing that he got a bit of a free pass, perhaps, with some of the big names sprinters out there, some that possibly could have beaten him going down. So I didn't want to celebrate too much, but I think quite cathartic for him. He, of course, involved in a very, very nasty incident. I think he might have even been suspended for a little while after it here at the Tour of Turkey. I might be wrong. But yeah, it was a huge crash. And we said yesterday, it always gets a bit twitchy on the opening stage. I think a lot of lessons, though, have possibly been learnt by the peloton. And today, it may well be just a little bit cleaner. The finish, incidentally, has a rise and a very, very gentle left-hander. You're barely noticeable. The rise is kind of done and dusted. They sort of crest with about 600 meters to go. So it'll be a clear view for most. And it just depends on what the wind does, I suspect. And indeed, just how nervous and desperate everybody is. Through a second feed zone here, Brian. Earlier on, as we were watching, a lot of bags were getting dropped out there, particularly by the Konya Turku Seker Spor team. I think every single one of them missed their musettes. And there we go again. Well,
you can just see a lot of these feedbacks are not the strongest, and you have to grab it as far down the strap as possible, nearer the bag, because you know, in these sort of temperatures, what the Swan Ures outside the road does, the staff, they put 2 bottles in it, and the food, maybe in some other races where it's not so warm, because it's, you know, it's pretty warm here in Turkey. The wind is blowing a bit, and it gets very warm, so it's easier to hand up 2 cold bottles, and that's why some of the riders are hitting it too high, and it's the handles are just breaking off. So the official feed zone was at 99, just after 99 kilometres, but normally in a feed zone everybody feeds together, but a lot of the teams are deciding to kind of spread themselves out of it.
Yeah, I think you probably need second chances when the weather's like this. It's not particularly hot compared to how it can get on the Vuelta, for instance, that kind of thing. But to be honest, you know, it's hot enough, and possibly hot enough for you to make some mistakes out there. If you don't keep the energy levels up, then you may well blow up. Who knows what the reason was for Nibali yesterday? Not quite sure, but certainly he got caught out, and Astana's gain was very much his loss, I think, at the end there.
Yeah, it's just one of these things. He blew towards the end, and you know, like every race, or most races, the strongest man won. And you know, Glinsky and Astana have been there and thereabouts. Glinsky was up there in the Tour of Flanders, and you know, he's ridden the classics very well. So, you know, you couldn't really discount his performance yesterday. Nibali just ran out of steam, big style for me. I don't think I really expected it when I was watching it after the stage of Turkey yesterday. He blew big style, and you don't often see that in the big classic races, but it just goes to show you that, you know, these guys putting in maximum effort, and sometimes this happens.
Last day for the sprinters today, well, for a couple of days anyway. The pure sprinters expected to do well in the top and tail of this event, first two and the last two stages indeed. Tomorrow we're climbing, and it's pretty serious. I know we're going to be getting on our bike today. Hello. Looks like a rear wheeler for Shpilevsky. We'll see. But yes, it gets very, very climby tomorrow. We've got two category ones, and in fact it's going to be a bit of a test for the mountain men, I think, and certainly not going to be liked by some of the quick boys.
I'm not too sure. This is the first time they've raced up this climb. 3 weeks ago there was a bit of snow at the top, so you know, it goes up to a decent height, and it must be a good climb. And you know, we'll get a chance to hopefully ride it tomorrow on our way to the finish.
We'll need snow tyres. We saw some of the snow-capped mountains, which sort of it's like an amazing geographic drape at the back here. As you look at the coast, you'll see it in a little while, I'm sure. Truly beautiful it is out there. Yes, it's going to be a test tomorrow. Could get a bit nippy, I think.
Yeah, when you're looking at it, Tour of Turkey really wants to bring the best sprinters in the world to the race, so they have done that, and you know, it's going to be a fantastic sprint when we get into the finish at Antalya later on today.
We'll take a break. Welcome back. Glorious sunshine here in Turkey. Fabulous part of the world we're in at the moment here. Live on Eurosport. If you'd like to join the conversation, incidentally, don't forget Twitter. Carlton Kirby, CarltonKirby, or Bry Smithy, BRISMITHY. Jen, who always keeps tabs on us out in Swindon there. Army wife, I think she is. Looks like a combat, maybe even a combat person herself, I think. Yes, very climby, she said. Yeah, I know. I don't know how that slipped out. Sorry, Jen. But anyway, 44 to go today. We will be dropping in and having a chat with some of you along the way, let's hope. Glorious blue skies. There is a little bit of oh gosh, the words escape me, but rain about, turning to snow on the hills. You see the snow-capped mountains as you come in here. Well, this is what draws people to this part of the world. It is, incidentally, the third most visited destination in the world by international arrivals, this coastline. And you can understand why when you see it. Some spectacular facilities, as well as, of course, the glorious beach itself. And it looks like some wave writers were there trying to spell out some kind of message with their powerboats. And as you can see, it draws an awful lot of people here just by the amount of buildings that are here. And our own hotel overlooking the ocean, absolutely glorious. Not wanting to make you feel too jealous, of course. 43 kilometres then, with 3 minutes and 22 the gap. They've turned up the wick just a little bit, and Rabobank are just thinking about defending that leader's jersey, perhaps. Vanessa Fini also there, and you saw that Greipel was putting some favours in the bank by relaying the water. He'll be expected to be looked after a little bit later on today.
Yeah, just at the front with Rabobank, they have to put at least one rider to the front. They do have the stage winner and overall leader Theo Boss, and you know, I wouldn't discount Theo Boss in a finish like this either. So that's why they're just putting one rider up. I know that this team at the front, Konya, have got you know, one sprinter in there, and that's Mirak Kao. Their sprinter, and you know, they're putting a couple of riders towards the front. This is their best opportunity, as Carlton says. We've got a bit of a climby day tomorrow, and we finish at the top of a climb. So, and then the next few days are pretty lumpy along the coastline. If you've seen the Tour of Turkey over the last few years, it gets pretty grippy in and out of a lot of these coves, and then we're back into a couple of flatter stages towards the end next weekend, or this weekend coming. But A good effort for Konya, the local team, to put you know, a couple of riders up, thinking this is their best chance of a stage today. But also up near the front, you've got Amiga Farmer smarting from yesterday, not having anybody at all. Kiki was up in the there and thereabouts yesterday in 6th place. He was a bit hampered by the crash, the big crash yesterday. So you know, he'll want to do something. And yeah, you've got Farnese Vini and fluorescent yellow jerseys for Gardini as well. So a lot of teams with a point to prove. This gap coming down to just over 3 minutes with 42 kilometres to go.
It's going to be a bit leery towards the end. You can already see that Amiga Farmer are really setting their stall out here. They've joined the party up at the front. Yeah, when we arrived here, golf bags were to the fore, and there's some spectacular courses here. I think there's only 65, incidentally, days of rain in, in this part of the world. So that means, what, 300 with sunshine? Unbelievable. Yeah, 300 sunny days. I'm just checking my notes. The rest cloudy or rainy. But there you go. That's not a bad average. So if you're thinking about coming here for some sport, then it's a good destination. 41 kilometres to go, 2 minutes and 54. Just stretching their legs a little bit as the peloton kind of sort themselves out. They know they've wound the gap down, and so why just put too much into it too soon? Yeah, as I think probably with 10 to go, we're going to get everybody together here. They're used to timing this well. And on a day like today, Brian, it's pretty predictable. You can kind of know when to turn on the juice. It's a flat course today. We're hugging the coastline, as you can see. And as a result, timings-wise, this is kind of workaday stuff for some of the big teams. Yeah, but you don't want to give them too much. You know, sitting just under 3 minutes now. It is coming back a wee bit quicker now, because they know that Bedrogi, Vinokurov and Pichon are, you know, are strong riders. The other two riders I know a little about, and you know, they're strong enough. All 5 of them all contributing to the efforts at the front. But it just goes to show you that you know, this is a strong enough breakaway, but the bunch want to bring them back more, and it's going to be very difficult for these 5 riders to hang out. They will get into the last, you know, 5 kilometres possibly, but they'll be swept up and it'll be a massive bunch finish. Might I say a happy St George's Day to all my English friends, and I believe it's even 150 days to the Tour of Britain. Well, there you go. He's gone very GB, as our Brian Smith. I don't know whether he's going to be voting for Scottish independence, or indeed if he has the right, living as he does in England these days. But we worked out this morning, or I did, that Brian Smith is actually an anagram of British man. We like that. So yes, he's going to be staying within the Union, I think. 40 kilometres. We're going to get more of that, I'm sure, as the months pass by. 40 kilometres to go, 2 minutes and 42 is the gap. Steve Davies says, loving the coverage, inspiring me to get into trouble with the wife and buy myself a pro bike. Well, there are worse things you can spend your money on, to be honest. Yeah, of course, you know, it keeps you fit. It's, you know, it's multi-purpose, and yeah, just get out there and get on the bike. And I don't know what the weather's like back home, but certainly over here it's great. It's going to be great racing, great finish. I'm pretty excited about tomorrow's finish. I think it's possibly the first time in the history of the Tour of Turkey that we've got a kind of hill or mountain-top finish, so that'll be pretty exciting. But as we can see, Rabobank still pushing hard at the front, together with Omega Pharma in the kind of light blue. We've seen Kittel's team up here, Argos, there in the white jerseys. That's the jersey. Cheng Yi is up there helping out. But yeah, a fairly lethargic bunch. Everybody knows it's going to be coming to a sprint. Greipel missed out yesterday, but as we said, they started with 7. They lost 1 rider with a broken wrist yesterday, Robert, who won the beauty sprint. So they've got 6 riders, and they don't want to be expending too much energy. You see them coming up in the last 10 kilometres, but they're just kind of sitting back at the moment and letting the other teams with a full complement of 8 riders ride on the front. Well, they only came here, of course, Lotto Belisol with 7 riders anyway. They're now down to 6. They're in good company. Team Etap as well started this event with 6. So yeah, they will be short-handed. Percentage-wise, you would be perhaps surprised to know just how much of a difference it makes. You've got fewer options, haven't you, Brian, when you start to lose personnel like that? Yeah, just Wilfred Peters there, very successful
start of the season for him and his classics team with Tom Boonen, and now here in Turkey. But yeah, that's why you would think that Lotto would put a rider or two riders up, but they can't spare these riders. Most of the teams at the front have got a full complement of 8 riders, so they can afford to put 1 or 2 riders towards the front and help out. So, you know, Greipel's just thinking, right, you know, I need my 5 riders to stay back with me and help me in the last 10 kilometres. Let the other teams do it. But most of the top pros, those big sprinters, will put at least 1 rider to the front if they feel good and they want to do a sprint, because the last thing they want to do is do absolutely no work, win the sprint, and then, you know, the other people, you know, look at them and the next few days and say, well, you know, you didn't help us. So you want to keep the harmony within the peloton and trying to help out. But people understand that if Greipel wins here today, that you know, he's down to only 6 riders, and he hasn't got the help of the 8 rider teams of some of the others.
Storm cloud over the mountains, as you saw. They'll be heading up there tomorrow. So teams wanting to indeed. I can't say I'm overly looking forward to the effort, but there you go. We'll let you know how we get on. I brought over a beautiful Vitus with me, so maybe Steve Davis, if you think about a bike, you might want to cast your mind over there. Yeah, a beautiful thing that I'm just riding out on at the moment, and yeah, it looks the part. Whether it will behave that way with me on top of it, we'll find out later today. We'll take a break. Welcome back. Just taking a look at the finish line here. If we could hang out of the commentary position and give you a wave, we certainly would do. As you can see, the wind's just picking up a little bit. Sea state, well, I don't know what you'd call that, rolling perhaps. 36 kilometres remaining before we get to the business end of today. Greg James says, tell Brian Smithy it's raining back here in the UK. There you go. Yes, whenever we mention it. Weather is patchy, says Steve Green. You're all giving us that update. Yes, here it's absolutely gorgeous. Sorry, but it is. Yes, for somewhere that it hardly rains, says Declan Kilkenny, it's very green. Yeah, Declan, mountain runoff. As you saw, this place is kind of in a rain shadow, really. Saw storm clouds over the mountains. That kind of falls as snow, or indeed as rain. If it's rain, it runs off. If it's snow, it runs off when it melts, when the weather does get hotter. And as a result, they've got this, yes, amazing, I think it's all figs and oranges and lemons and limes and that kind of stuff here. Certainly from the breakfast buffet, they're not short of fruit. Let's put it that way. 35 kilometres then, and just over 2 minutes now. The pace has gone up, and I think those who are out front know that possibly their card has been marked here, because there's just too much ambition, as we've already said, within the peloton to let them get away with it.
Yeah, it was contained for a bit. Maximum was about just over 5 minutes to the 5 in front of Vinokurov, Pichon, Locatelli, Bodrogi and Fedi. And, you know, they're really bringing it right back, because they know that, you know, there's a couple of really good, strong riders in Vinokurov and Bodrogi there, and they could put them under a lot of pressure if they still had, you know, 2 minutes in the last, you know, 20-25 kilometres. So they're bringing it back fairly quickly at the moment. They'll probably bring it down a wee bit more and just leave them hanging out there. We see more and more riders, and it just goes to show you the heat at the moment, with so many riders going back for bottles.
Yeah, it was 25 Celsius yesterday. We're nudging 28 Celsius today, despite the sea breeze, which kind of gives you some kind of feeling as to how hot it is. If you're a right lily white like myself, I went for a quick dip in the pool, which sort of sees the back of any sun cream you might have on, and I was beginning to fry after 20 minutes. Bryce Smith decided to go and have a... were you down in the massage parlour? I think you were. Yes, nothing seedy. It's absolutely brutal, the massage here, and you do feel like you've been beaten up, but it's a relief when it stops. but you also feel fantastic a little bit later on, I might add. 34 kilometres, 2 minutes and 7 the gap, and yeah, it's water for everybody. Jaroslav Marish, one of the GC contenders here for Saxo Bank. You saw him looking a bit lumpy. He's putting something in the bank with his teammates, doing the Soignier thing really on their behalf, relaying whatever he possibly can. Andy Schleck used to do that an awful lot. I think he's been told to pack it in, basically, just maintain the focus up front. But Jaroslav doing it on what is an untesting day, really, at least at this phase, with 33 to go. They're kind of spinning it at the moment, just preserving their energy because they know that this will be a dash. Craig Elliott says, yeah, just be careful when you're out there. Local drivers can make Lewis Hamilton appear slow and safe. You know what, Craig? We were having a chat about this earlier on today. I don't know whether things have changed or whether road sense has really hit home, but the drivers here seem to be impeccable. I don't know whether it's just coastally, that kind of thing. They will try and burn you off on the lights. They can't resist a big white guy, very, very white guy, I might add, bluey white, at the lights, even if you're on a bicycle. But something to be proved, I think. But no, yeah, it seems, at least for now, reasonably safe. We'll give you a report later on, I guess. So, puncture for Szpalewski.
Yeah, Szpalewski's it's probably the second puncture in about 10 kilometres. He's not having much luck. Rather puncture here with 33 kilometres. Not a big rush, as we see the mechanic just sliding it in. A lot of the mechanics have had to bring over a lot of the equipment. There's no trucks, no team vehicles, no nothing. The vehicles here are pretty much all the same. The Renault, I think most of them are Renault Clios. I think with just normal roof racks and things like that. So most of the teams have brought on, you know, big large boxes on the aeroplanes over here, and not bringing any of their vehicles.
We mentioned earlier on, Brian, there's Marcel Kittel, who you think is going to do something special today. I think you possibly might be right.
Well, I picked him yesterday, yeah. And he crashed. You can just see the bandage in his right hand arm, but he's put one rider up near the front, and again, when you're winning as much as he does, he just wants to keep on, you know, trying. And this is a good drag strip finish for him. It's not technical. It's you know, it goes round with the last corner is probably about 1,500 metres to go, and it kind of general goes round towards the left-hand side. 1 kilometre, pretty much straight. As you said, it rises very slightly. These guys at the speed they're going won't really notice that. But you want to be hugging the left-hand side of the road because the wind is coming from the right. Twit picked a picture of the finishing line. We've seen some pictures of it, but there is a strong crosswind coming across the finishing straight, so it's coming off the sea. So it will be a very different sprint from yesterday.
The coastline here due south, incidentally, in case some of you were wondering. So basked in sunshine for the entire day. Yes. We were talking earlier on, Brian, about the fact that some of the bikes here came very, very late. Transfers, as everyone was coming in from various events. We've got to the busy part of the season, really. Seems to be an explosion of activity as far as events are concerned. So a long way for them to come. And as a result, with some of the long transfers, road transfers that we actually got before the event started, some bikes weren't getting here until the morning of the start. So I think they did try and ride themselves in yesterday. But what sort of impact would that be? Would that be having on a team that you just couldn't get on the bike? I know you're grumpy when you can't.
Yeah, it's getting a wee bit like that. Yeah, most of the pro riders ride pretty much every day. There are some riders, I know that in the past, Paolo Bettini would take a few days off, and it didn't really affect him. So horses for courses, and you know, most people like to ride. So to travel over here, I know I left the UK. I left home about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we arrived here at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was a long day even for us. And yesterday, you know, just generally you feel a bit flat. And you know, the best thing for these riders to do was to ride the first few kilometres and you know, get the feeling back in their legs. And towards, you know, yesterday's stage of 135 kilometres was perfect. Any shorter, like 50, 60, there would be some people kind of really struggling a wee bit to find their legs. But 135, and that sort of circuit was, you know, a great start for them. And this race will just go on from strength to strength. And you know, we'll see the riders. Hopefully, there's not the same incidents that we had yesterday. I don't think it is that same finish, and it'll be a bit more strung out as we come in towards the finishing line. But it'll be an interesting finish. Just seeing the right hand side, so you can see Matt Goss in the green jersey, surrounded by a few of his teammates, and they're not putting anybody up near the front. And that was a very good sprint by Matt yesterday. And we said that at the time, or just when I said that, Cameron Maher comes up towards the front and riding. So you know, this is the first rider they've put up there, so it goes to show you that Matt Goss is feeling good. He led it from the front yesterday, bit of a headwind kick, and Boss just was able to come round him. It just goes to show you the sheer class of the, you know, he's a past world champion in the sprint on the track. And he's carried that over to the road. There's not many people that come from the track and can do that on the road. I know that, especially from the sprinting side of things, I know that Viviani can do that, but he rides the endurance races on the track. But Theo Bos finding his legs here in Tour of Turkey, because this was one of the first kind of road events he rode, and you know, he was involved with that kind of nasty accident with Daryl Limpey a few years ago. But good to see him get a win. But he's going to be up against some other top sprinters here.
Yeah, we mentioned at the top of the show that it was a bit cathartic for Theo Bos. He knew there'd been a crash yesterday, of course. He was involved in one a couple of years ago at this very event. And so he was in sort of humble mode yesterday, I think. Oh, the Accent boys, here they come. Yes, they'll be working for Stefan van Dijk and maybe Jean-Pierre Drucker. Soft spot for these guys. They pumped up my tyres this morning, put 8 bar in there. Yes, possibly could have done with a bit more. I might add. Brian looking quizzical. Hey, how about this? Do you remember the old movies? Oh gosh, what were they called? Jason and the Argonauts. There you go. It was around here that they filmed the skeletons coming out of the ground. Somebody's going to now look that up on some internet movie database and say it was in Jordan. No, I believe it was here. Certainly one of the sword fights sequences, definitely. And there you go. Was that an aqua or a viaduct? It looks a bit too focused to be an aqueduct, so a viaduct it is. And as you can see, an awful lot of stonework, some still one on top of the other as they were intended to be in the first place. Another perfectly preserved almost. Yes, Roman theatre. Fabulous. And well, some of the fruit groves as well. 28 kilometres remaining, so time for us to take another break, and we'll be back here in this sunshine with a fresh breeze in just a few moments' time. Well, back there is the chasing bunch at the moment, and they're sharing duties, quite rightly too. If they're going to turn this one into a sprint, they need to actually share the duties along the way. You get found out otherwise. 27 kilometres to go then, with 5 riders up the road. For those of you who've joined us just a little bit late, where have you been? Yes, Alexander Vinokurov is hoping to add to the amazing week or so that Astana have had. The 38-year-old is in the break. Of course, not retiring after his broken femur after all on the Tour de France last year. The Vuelta winner of 2006 is indeed here, and he's up the road along with Laurent Pichon, Breton Schuller, who was taking stages in the Ardennes and indeed Normandy. The young 22-year-old Colnago rider Paldo Locatelli, he's a big guy as well. Laszlo Budrogi, formerly of Hungary, now of France, Mr. Time Trial. He's also up front for Team Type 1, also a veteran at 35 years of age. And Matteo Fedi of United Healthcare, formerly of Colnago, 10th in the Coppi e Bartoli, at least on stage 2 of that. The young 23-year-old. So a mix of youth and experience amongst the escape. So, yeah, and it's certainly enough to cause some worriment to the peloton that have been winding them in. It was over 5 minutes, the maximum break, but it's down to 1 minute and 38, you can see, with 26 to go, and all the big boys are getting into shape here. Theo Bos, will he fancy doing it again? I think he probably not exactly rest on his laurels, but just take things a little bit easier than yesterday. But then again, you never know. Sprinters are hard beasts to nail down, to be honest. Katusha, yeah, they had their moments yesterday as well. Gusev and Ignatieff are their GC boys. Alexander Porsev was the second, I think, to Mr. Fenn in Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway,
Challenge Mallorca.
Was it Mallorca? Yeah, it was. It was Mallorca. What am I talking? 25 kilometres. Handwriting. That's the problem. 1 minute and 34. Tumbling. Yeah, indeed. So as if by magic, gets a mention and pops up. Got a pick for today, or are you going to stick with Mr. Kittel?
I'm going to stick with Kittel.
I think I'll stick with Greipels.
Yeah. Well, we might have just doomed him.
Yeah.
It's going to be it's going to be a different sprint, as we said, from yesterday. And you know, Greipel and Kittel missed out. I think Kittel was the fastest sprinter in the bunch we've got here, and that's saying a lot, considering we've got a lot of you know, great sprinters here. Omega Pharma, for me, Kiki didn't look too sharp yesterday. I know that Omega Pharma tried hard yesterday and kind of were swept away, but it's going to be very difficult to control. As we said, Lotto Greipel's team have only got 6 riders, including themselves, so 5 riders to help them, and that's why they're not helping out at the front. But when you see most teams willing to help, like Cameron Mayer for a Green Edge on the right-hand side of our screen, followed by Omega Pharma, you've got Rabobank, you've got Kittel's team of Argos, Farnese Vini was up there. Too many teams wanting this to come down to a sprint finish, but a valiant effort by the riders on the left. Pichon at the front for Bretan Schuller, Bodrogi, Fedi, Locatelli and Vinokurov sitting there 1:34.31 now. 24 kilometres ago, the maximum they got was just over 5 minutes. It was actually Vinokurov that won the first sprint at 53.7 kilometres, Locatelli second, Pichon third, and the beauty sprint was won by Bodrogi, Fedi in second place in Pichon. So it looks as if Team Type 1 with Bodrogi will be on the podium tonight.
More Team Type 1-ish. Yes, Joey Roscoff, tidily underway, already clips out of the back wheel just to make the process a little bit quicker along the way. Darren McCullough says biggest memory of Turkey was the amazing baths that they have there. Vouch for that. Where large man beats you up and then chucks you into a cold pool in a very nice way. It's true. It certainly makes you feel alive. 23k to go, just over 90 seconds separating them now, and yeah, it looks like curtains for those up front. Lamprey look a bit more marshalled today. They kind of broke down yesterday, left Pataki to it. He does get rather grumpy. He's not the best man to be around. I've actually seen him lash out in the past. Didn't seem to get that much sanction, I might add, but yes, card marked, I think. And as a result, yesterday, it got a bit scrappy for him towards the end. He wasn't the only one to be kind of bereft of backup. And yeah, you need to be able to do it on your own, of course. The likes of Robin McEwen are real prize fighters when it comes to a proper scrap. I don't think it's technical enough for Robin McEwen today. He likes a few more bumps and curves and yes, elbows to the fore, I think, for the little guy. It's not going to be his kind of day today, I don't think. Well, a few of you are reminding us about the inauspicious events, I think, dramatic events, of course, of Gallipoli, April 25th, and all the Anzac boys. Yes, it's yes, tinged with sadness, I think. So many young Antipodeans met their maker in this part of the world. It's such a shame, isn't it, that you get this glorious countryside and it has that kind of history. There's your local airport. That's where we came into, Brian.
Yeah, now we're back.
And now we're back. We bounced. Yeah. It's not exactly rest up time, but they don't really have that sense of urgency or possibly belief with them now. When you are going to get caught like this, Vino just wanted to get up there and just show that he's still got it. He's not been boxed in, if you like, not only by the pellet but by his teammates' success. I think he just wanted to shine and say, hey, don't forget who's the boss.
Yeah, it's always a motivation when the team does well, and you know, he's come here with a question mark over his head whether he would maybe sit back and try and do something tomorrow, but he's decided today and maybe surprise everybody. Still a healthy advantage with 1 minute and 38 seconds with 22 kilometres to go, and they don't want to give them too much leeway because, as we said, it's a very good 5-man breakaway with Vinokurov, Pichon, Locatelli, Bodrogi and Fedi, and you can just see the peloton just kind of knocked to speed off at the moment, and you know, just a lot of riders, a lot of teams just deciding, right, we've brought it back, and you know, we're going to sit back and see who wants to commit more riders to the front, and it's Rabobank that really have to do most of the chasing, and that's why they put 2 riders there, because they want to keep a hold of that that leader's jersey that's on Theo Boss's back.
Here's a man who knows his tour of Turkey, Martin Friel. He says, when you see, Carlton, those yellow water bomber planes once again, yeah, they only bring them out when there's a brush fire. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, I think there was a change of course because of the smoke caused by one of those brush fires. It can get tinder dry. I don't think that's the case this year, incidentally. Don't forget to mention that they flew them across the Atlantic from Canada. Thanks, Martin. Yes, well, you know, let's hope we don't need them, eh? What do these boys need? A proper sprint, I think, today. That's what they're hoping for. And all teams that have got sprinters worthy of the name getting themselves to the fore. Mark Cavendish not here. Neither Tyler Farrar, but a whole raft of sprinters who clearly don't mind the profile of a few bumps along the way.
No, I think we went through them yesterday. We'll go through them again today. You've got AG2R with Jimmy Casper. You've got Astana with Garnieri. You've got Green Edge with Matt Goss. You've got Pitaki for Lampre. Greipel for Lotto. Omega Farmer. Kiki was the best yesterday, but again they might throw up Kaiser today. I'm not too sure. Theo Boss again for Rabobank, although they've got Renshaw, Brown and Jesse Bow in there as well. JJ Hado for Saxo Bank. Labato for Andalusia. Accents I've got Van Dijk. Andrew Schultz for Team Neta. You've got Cardoso for Cajaruao. Madolo for Conago. Gardini for Farnese Vini. Kittel for Argos. Bovan is out. He was a sprinter for Spidertech. He damaged his hand yesterday. Forster and Keogh for United Healthcare. And the local man for Konya, Merak Kal, for the local Konya team. So maybe we'll see him up there today.
Infrastructure, yeah, they've kind of done an awful lot in this part of the world over the last 5 years. Easier to get in and out, and maybe that's part of the reason why it feels a bit safer on the roads. Just past the 20k to go marker, you see that side of your roads. These boys kind of spinning it out a bit, but I think they kind of know they're doomed in terms of being allowed to get away with it today. Vino just starting to chug a little bit. He's kind of doing his role here, but he doesn't look as though he overly fancies it. And I won't be too surprised if suddenly on one of these longer sections here, you suddenly see the chasing pack just looming into view. You're seeing some of the outriders on the motorcycles, bottom right of your screen.
Well, that's the problem you've got, Carrollton. You've got this main road pretty much all the way in towards the finish in Italia, and no place to hide. If it was a bit more technical, then, you know, out of sight, out of mind. But here, 1 minute and 25, you can see them just down the road, but still hanging on. 125 is a healthy advantage with 19 kilometres to go, and a lot of the teams just sitting back and still letting the likes of Kittel's team of Argos, Rabobank are in there, Green Edge, Omega Farmer, Farnese Vini just kind of sitting back slightly at the moment.
Greg James is kind of filling in for us at the moment. He says, can you start a competition for the best or worst club kit over the next couple of days? Listen, Greg, I think I can probably beat all of you. I'm not the most focused athlete out there physically, and so as a result I decided that rather than try and just fit in, if you like, I bought myself a Spam Crazy Tasty jersey. And we'll get a picture of it. I think it's quite possibly the worst, but it does suit my my physical state at the moment. That is changing, I might add, since I got my Vitus. It's been a busy old time of things out there. Surely the beauty sprint, says Odysseus, will be a marketing backfire if Andre Greipel wins it. Poor Andre. You know what? He's a good-looking guy, I've got to say. Once the helmet comes off, he's just so mean out there. If anyone had wing mirrors, they wouldn't want to look at them. I tell you, if he was charging down at you. Yeah, he's yes, sartorially he's got it, but I think when the helmet goes on and he pulls that mouth wide, he's like a basking shark out there, but he does scoop up the opposition, and that's why I'm going for him today. Greipel for me, and Marcel Kittel for Argos Shimano. Shame that Skill Shimano, as we were talking about kit just a moment ago, are no longer together as a partnership, because I always used to like the red and white stripes of their outfit. I thought it was rather fetching, let's put it that way. So just 18 to go, 1:22. It's kind of holding station at the moment. Nothing too dramatic. I suspect we're going to get more drama over the next 4 days. Although, let's just wait for the grand finale, shall we? They've built a lot of sprints into this event. It's always been that way. And it's possibly that in the days before blanket television coverage, or at least most of each of the stage days, where mountains really come to the fore, especially if you've got HD. If you're watching in HD, I know Jim Wall is. He says it looks absolutely fabulous. You want to check it out, actually. If you happen to be near the television wall in John Lewis or Sony or wherever it is you buy your televisions, yes, just get them to put Eurosport on and check out some of the pictures, because it really is fabulous. Easy on the eyes, nice. There we are. These guys at the head of the race, they've been out there for a long time. They went out there around about the 50 mark, and with 17 to go, they've still got 1:17, but there seems no sense of urgency about them at the moment. And look at that, time to stretch out and start thinking about the end game.
No, they're trying hard at the moment, trying to hold off the bunch. 1:15 seconds. 17 kilometres to go. It's coming back down slowly, but the start of this stage today was there was a lot of groups trying to get away, a lot of attacks, because a lot of teams were thinking, you know, this is a good flat stage for us, and maybe Theo Boss might think, right, we've won the stage, and maybe not try and defend the lead and let it up to the other sprinters teams that missed out yesterday. And eventually this five-man group of Vinokurov, Pichon, Locatelli, Bodrogi and Feddy got away, but it wasn't easy. But they did get away around about the 50-kilometre mark, and in a 153-kilometre stage they've not been out there too long, so they've still got a bit of energy in their legs, and you know, they're holding off this bunch nicely. Cameron Mayer for Green Edge riding hard at the front. One of the local teams, Solcano, is up there. Solcano being one of the cycle manufacturers and sponsors of the Tour of Turkey. So you know, a lot of the Turkish teams, the two Turkish teams we've got here, Konya and Solcano, doing very well in these first couple of stages.
Odysseus, rather conveniently, has just tweeted me a picture of my very jersey. Yes, so if you want to see what a Spam Crazy Tasty jersey looks like, then I've just retweeted it for some of you to consider. It's fantastic, especially for the larger gentleman. Yes, it's sort of honest, let's put it that way. 16 kilometres to go then, 1:05 only, and yeah, you can see, shake the old hams out, why don't you? Vino, 38 years of age, let's not forget. He's probably got a bit of lactose to get rid of there, I should imagine, after all those years.
I think you're getting a few offers of different jerseys now. I think Ron Keeble wants to buy you a Braveheart jersey, a nice tartan one in St George's Day.
Ron Keeble says give him a Braveheart jersey if you want to see something bad. Don't big it up. We'll see. What's on it? Picture of some ventricles.
It's got Chris Hoy's signature on it.
Oh, well, there you go.
The patron of the Braveheart.
16 kilometres to go, less than a minute now. You could see the heart had really kind of gone out of those in the escape today. There's the mountains, check that out. They're not grey clouds, by the way. That's the lumpy stuff that we're going to be enjoying tomorrow. But today, well, we're down towards sea level. Absolutely glorious sunshine. It's cloudy up there. There may well be some snow about. We'll see. Stranger things have happened. 50 seconds now with 15 to go. Pace up.
The Colombians now come to the front, called the Portes team, Farnese Vini. So many of the sprinters teams, Rabobank, Argos, Green Edge, and we can just see some of the more of the Argos team. You just see Kittel just with some sunscreen on his arm, because as we said, it is a pretty hot day out here, touching 28 degrees, very sunny, but more urgency at the front of the peloton.
A lot of you being very positive about my Spam Crazy Tasty outfit. Neil Ramson loves it, says it's tops. Stephen Davis says it's stunning. Yes, lots more too. 15 kilometres to go then. 5 men up the road, have been for much of the day. Big check over the shoulder by Locatelli. Yes, he kind of knows that this is curtains, I'm afraid. It doesn't matter how much you push out on a day like today. At this sort of distance, with the quality and talent in terms of sprinting, strength and depth, I might add. Yes, we know we're heading for a sprint finish right now. They're within sight of them, clearly. And yes, the fast men just being protected for the time being. They'll come to the fore before you know it.
Well, out these 5 teams that are in front, Locatelli doing a very good job there, getting in this breakaway. He's the rider for Colnago. He's just sitting third wheel at the moment. The white, kind of difficult, the blue and the white just coming through onto Brodrogi's wheel in the red helmet. But done a good ride. He has got Sasha Madolo as the sprinter in their team, and when you've got a rider in a breakaway, you don't really have to put any of your team on the front and you know, waste anybody's energy. So with one rider in the breakaway, all the other 7 riders can just you know, look after Madolo and save their energies for the last kind of 5 kilometres when it's all going to kick off.
Yes, and it will. Brodrogi just sending his arm out, just saying, come on, keep it up. Nobody overly keen to take it on, I'm afraid, and with 43 seconds to go, and there it is. There's the Viper's head, as it were. Altogether, beautiful surface, incidentally, the road surface today. It's really one for the rollers and the quick men. There we are. And a lot of protection being offered up, and plenty of space for teams to move around and get themselves into team order, which is exactly what they're doing now.
Yeah, you got the Colombia team trying to work out who they'll be looking for. As I said, they've had 1-1 recently in Trentino. It has taken them a couple of months when they first came over into European racing, but they've got that first one. That'll breed confidence in them, in the whole team, and they're starting to ride with some of the sprinters towards the front. Cameron Meyer putting in a big turn for Green Edge, followed by Farnese Vini, Rabobank. A lot of riders now coming up towards the front, because we are inside the last 13 kilometres now. It's still 43 seconds to the 5 riders in front, and but still a lot of riders kind of sitting back as Cameron Meyer is still giving it, as we say, big licks in the front of the peloton.
AG2R are kind of the the team that often don't achieve what perhaps they should. Thinking about Jimmy Casper today, they looked a bit lively yesterday as well, it's got to be said. So maybe we're going to see some more unexpected, perhaps, than we may well have done. I'm just looking down to see where the lead ALM rider, AG2R, actually finished yesterday. And in fact, it was Ravar, way back down in 35th place. One of the teams that got caught out entirely. Don't want that to happen again. There is, Brian, a rather nasty left-hander, around about 1.8 kilometres, 1.7 kilometres to go. You've got to be in a decent position to take that, because the speed will already be extraordinarily high by that point.
Yeah, no, definitely. The last there's a junction with about 7 kilometres to go where we turn left, and it's pretty much a sweeping all the way down towards the and it should be slightly downhill all the way down to the kind of esplanade where we are, but that corner is a sharp left-hand corner. But the speed at that point will be really fast. They'll be pretty much lined out in one line, so I don't think it would be hamper them too much, as we can just see the bunch now at 37 seconds.
Danger, of course, is when you are in a line, if it really is a pure line at that point, is that you get this, what would you call it, kind of a sheep effect, really. One rider just starts to go a little bit wide, the next rider does the same, and it magnifies itself a bit like being on the end of a conga line, if you like, and you can get incidents. So let's just hope that that doesn't happen, as somebody just gets slung into the barriers, if you see what I mean, by taking an ever, albeit marginal, line into that corner, and it will be quick. So let's just hope that they keep safe. I think they'll probably be going around it around about 3 deep at the moment. They could probably be around about 7 or 8 wide on the highway, big dual carriageway, as you can see. In fact, I think it might even be a 3-laner. 12k then, 34 seconds, and Green Edge starting to set their stall out here. Utensil Nord as well are also in the frame here, not wanting to be outdone, and they're not alone with some ambition here today. Watch out for Breton Schuller, by the way. Greg Lecat can turn a wheel or two. Over towards the left-hand side of your screen, the right-hand side of the road, though, Omega Pharma just thinking about Kiki, surely.
I'm not too sure. Kiki never really had the legs yesterday. He finished in 6th place, and like a lot of these teams, you really have to. The call was made by the director sportive. In Omega Pharma's case, is Wilfred Peters, and sometimes they give the nod to maybe someone else. We've seen Goss up there yesterday for Green Edge, but they might decide to go with someone else. They have got you know, Krupis, which is a very fast rider. So you never know that maybe Omega Pharma have decided to go with someone else. We'll have to get into the last few kilometres, and we'll start to pick out who's at the back of the lead out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Likewise for Rabobank, I don't know whether Theo Bos is going to hog the glory here. He is indeed wearing the leader's turquoise jersey.
You can just see him. There's four orange jerseys, and he is the last man. So he's got the leader's jersey. He won yesterday. His confidence is up, and he'll be the one that they're leading out. And when you've got the likes of you know, Mark Renshaw and Graham Brown, who rode perfectly for him yesterday, he's in great hands. Yeah,
why would you change your winning formula, you might say? It's a turquoise jersey, incidentally, as we go past the 10K to go. That's the leader's jersey. Matt Goss is wearing the green jersey. The white jersey is on the back of Robert. Well, he's would have been on the back of Freddie Robert had he not had to withdraw, unfortunately. The Ministry of Culture and Tourism, that's that particular jersey. 10 to go then. 28 seconds is the gap. And as we say, 28, it drifts out to 31. That's a mark of just how tactical it's getting out there. They just started to drift away a little bit while they all busy themselves getting their teams together. It kind of eats up just a little bit of time, which is why you often see that happening. The red jersey, the climbers jersey, will be tomorrow. The green jersey, with the, which is the sprinters jersey, is at the moment on the back of Matt Goss. Theo Bos is the turquoise jersey, which is our leader's jersey. Turquoise being the French for Turkish. It was a Turkish blue, if you like, all those years ago. And when you look at the ocean and the sky in this part of the world, you can understand why. 9K then remaining. The speed has gone up. It's going to get a little bit more pacey even than this. And by the time we hit the 5 to go mark, they're going to be just uncatchable to normal human beings. Look at the pace they're starting to put into this already. Yeah, you're starting to see it bunching up as more and more teams come up the left and the right-hand side of the roads. Cameron Meyer putting in a big you know, performance at the front of the bunch, and so many other teams. The Colombians in the centre of the picture and on the right hand side. Farnese Vini just behind him. Now we got Caja Rual riding hard, and you know, this man at the front, by the looks of him, all over his bike, giving it 100% at the moment. I'm pretty sure that he'll do a turn and swing off. There's no way that he can keep up that for the next 9 kilometres. Absolutely giving it 100%. Oh dear, yes, he almost fit for them as well, but at least he's pacing it out, thinking about Cardozo. There is Farnese Vini in their yellow, with Lamprey also on muster stations at the moment. 22 seconds. This has been timed well. Vino still at the front. You know, you never know. They'd have to rely on something rather dramatic, which we're hoping, you know, something unfortunate to happen to the chasers if they were going to make it home right now. But with 8 to go, it's not going to happen. There's too much safety built into this approach today, it seems. We can't say that for the turn. We can't work out whether it's 1.5 or 1.8 kilometres to go, but you will see it. And it'll be gird your loins and just hope for the best, I think, at that point. Right now, it's about getting yourself and your team together, and they're doing it beautifully. Yeah, you can see a lot of people looking round. Farnese Vini in fluorescent yellow, looking to get the line out. Nobody wants to really take it on with 8 kilometres to go. They know the breakaway is only 22 seconds in front. It's going to come back, and everybody's just sitting and waiting. You've got Rabobank in the orange, you've got United Healthcare in there in the blue and the white. So a lot of teams sitting back. Caja Rual right in the middle of our picture at the moment. You just see the third rider is Cardozo with the Portuguese bands on his arms, and as an ex-champion of Portugal. So a lot of riders just kind of queuing up, waiting to pounce. That was nice. Lamprey have sort of split themselves into 2 lines of one line of 3 and one line of 4, and they've got the Caja Royale boys. They're saying, look, can we please get these can we get these guys out of the way? Caja Royale just handing off and saying, no, look, we've won this point on the road, sort it out yourselves. That's the kind of fretful behaviour you've got today. They know they're going to be climbing tomorrow, and so the sprinters want it to work out for them today. Alessandro Patacchi is a bit of a tetchy character, and he will have told the boys, look, just get yourselves sorted out. We didn't get the train yesterday. I want one today, and they're split at the moment with Caja Royale in the pink sandwich, as it were. 7K to go, 19 seconds now as temper's starting to fray. The focus, yes, has to be now.
Well, this is the left-hander with 7 kilometres to go, and it should go slightly kind of downhill. We are going down towards the coastal area, so it's not the corner. The next corner will come sweeping right-hander all the way around towards about the 1.5, 1.8 kilometres to go. We turn sharp left, and it's a short run to the line of about 1.5 kilometres, so we're going to be finishing very quickly.
Well, that was kind of a lazy left, you might say, which gave them a lot of road space. It'll be a bit more pinched as the speeds will be up a little bit later on. We'll be getting there before you know it. Green Edge just starting to think about it. They've had a big look. United Healthcare with some ambitions. Boy van Poppel here finished well yesterday, the Dutchman. Rob Foster as well they've got, let's not forget. Omega Pharma really want this today, and so do Green Edge. Yeah, they did a lot of work yesterday, Green Edge. Kind of got bullied. 6K, 16 seconds. It's going to be all over for these guys, but they're digging deep for the last little push, but we're expecting them to get caught by 10. It's going to be by 5, I think. Cheers ringing out here. The crowds have been phenomenal, incidentally.
I think the crowds have been building every year. This race has gone up in stature, and you know, it's maybe a lot of the Turkish locals didn't really understand cycling, but when you get the best riders in the world coming here year after year, we're getting starting to see more and more people involved with cycling and watching cycling, and the crowds, I think 5 years ago, have multiplied in numbers, and it's great to see.
Miraj Kal is in the mix here for Konya Turku. Good to see the local rider. It's green with a Turku splat badge right in the middle of it in red. And yeah, Radio Tour just essentially warning everybody, I think, just to sort of stay safe here today. Wise words, I think. Yes, unusual. They want a cleaner one today, clearly, and why not? They built sprints, built this event round sprints before the world of television really came with the drama of the mountains. They're starting to think more about the hills, which is why we've got an uphill finish tomorrow with 2 category 1s, but today it's going to be about the quick men, and the quick men are coming to the fore. Their teams are wanting space here, and Farnese Vini are heading at the moment. Lampre are in a very, very good position. Omega Pharma Lotto have actually regrouped themselves on the other side of the road. They want the inside line for the left-hander. That's the place to be. They're going to have to go the long way round here. Argos Shimano in the white with green accented jerseys here, mostly white. And as you said, Brian, that's just starting to draw out here in a long, long line.
Well, Farnese Vini at the front, second place. You've got Spider Tech team. They'll be looking after one of the other riders because they've lost Guillaume Bovan, the young sprinter in the team. But a few words between Farnese Vini and Spider Tech, but that's the team. But just hovering right behind them in the pink jerseys is Alessandro Bataki's team of Lampre. A few other teams starting to try and get organised as we see them coming up the left and the right-hand side.
Watch out for Greipel. I think he's on his own here. They're short-handed, let's not forget. Maybe he's been protected by his teammates for some time today, but I think he's going to have to do it on his own. They're down to 6 riders, don't forget, and on a longish day like today, especially in this temperature, 153 kilometres, maybe it's taken a toll on the team. We don't know. On one of the underpasses here as life goes on in this Antalya city here. And there they are, they emerge at speed and just heading as a gentle uphill rise here. Farnese Vini still with plenty to do here. 4K to go, and here come Lampre into position, and United Healthcare also right there.
Yeah, the trouble with Farnese Vini, there's only 2 riders in front of Gardini, and this is going to be a fast sprint. A lot of the other teams like Rabobank sitting back, Pataki's team of Lampre in the pink sitting back a wee bit. And the far side you've got in the blue, you've got JJ Hadel's team of Saxo Bank, and these 2 riders are going to have to ride so hard to keep Gardini in the perfect place. As we see, they're starting to tire, and more riders starting to come down the side of them.
Yeah, Gardini himself taking huge blow of breath, big lungs full, and he's running out of teammates here as far as Rabobank are concerned in their orange, and indeed they're resplendent in their blue. They're working for the leader, Theo Boss, who is in the turquoise jersey. So it's get yourselves into a decent position time, because in just over 1 kilometre time there's going to be that nasty turn, and you better be in the right place. Team Etap showing a great deal of force here to just get themselves into a safe place. And Farnese have broken down here. Green Edge have come through, but they're also just shattered as far as their team line is concerned, fighting to get it back. All in 2s and 3s all over the place. Saxo looking solid.
Yeah, Andrew Schultz team net up on the left-hand side. You can just see the rider at the front giving it absolutely everything. He's going to swing over and make it, get himself out of there. You've got Saxo Banks sitting up there for JJ Hedo, and he'll be looked after by his brother Lucas Hedo. You've now got Caja Rural for Cardozo coming towards the front, and so many people moving around. The big figure on the right-hand side, you can see just about to come into a picture, is Kittel for Argos.
Over on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see Greipel getting into position. He's got a wingman here, a lead-out man who's holding on to him, holding on. And suddenly the Green Edge boys as well do find themselves, but they've been knocked back a little bit yet again. Oh my goodness, it's getting difficult out there. Europcar also involved here in the green, along with Caja Rural, who showed a lot of ambition so far today. And here come, I think, Argos Shimano for Marcel Kittel. Here comes your left-hander. Now then, Kittel's in a terrific position here. He's got a lead-out man in front of him. He's got a red helmet and a whitish outfit. Now, it's about now. You've got to start thinking about it. Caja Rural have done a lot today. There is Konya Turco as well, also in green, with Meloshenko, Yuri, who can go quickly when he needs to. He's also working there with Mirach Kal, maybe a local winner today, and suddenly, here you go. They're starting to just form themselves. Well, time to get up the pace, and Accent have started to think about that as well. Rabobank look a little bit lost at the moment.
Yeah, just seeing the right-hand side, you've got the white jersey of Kittel sitting about. But 10 moving up, Gardini in there for Vini in the fluorescent yellow, and he's in a great position at the moment. A lot of bumping and bumping. Oh. This isn't an easy sprint, but the wind coming from the right-hand side, but it's Matt Goss getting led out by Green Edge in the green jersey, sitting in second place.
Matt Goss goes, and he's got one of the Rabo riders with him, Matt Goss though. Oh, and here comes Andrei Greipel out of absolutely nowhere with 200 metres to go, and Greipel lights it up. Oh, he wanted this yesterday, and it looks like it's Greipel's all the way here. Oh, he's got the jump on everybody. They're all busy looking, but it belongs to that man. What a ride. Andrei Greipel absolutely nailed that. His team were absent, and in the end, well, short-handed they might have been. Greipel just had to pick his way through. He rode all the lines that started to break down, and in the end, found himself in some clear air. And Andrei Greipel, after so much success, 6 wins at the start of the season, let's not forget, was masterful in Oman. And the big guy gives us the thumbs up here. The basking shark has come home once more. I like that.
I couldn't tell, but just looking back in that sprint, we just seen Theo Bosch never get involved with that. He finished safely in that group. Kittel sat up with about 300 metres to go, never had the legs or the position. But what a sprint by the Lotto rider, Andrei Greipel. Few of the teams never put anybody near the front. I know they're down to 6 men. Might be saying it says congratulations, Kittel. Kittel, maybe because of that crash yesterday, never felt so good. Sometimes when you fall and get some abrasions, it takes a wee bit of your energy away to concentrate and getting them better. But it looks so easy. Yeah. Great lead out by Green Edge. Matt Goss in the perfect position. But when this man goes with what, about 300 metres to go, there's very few people that can get around him.
You know what? He got a stage win over Mark Cavendish, who was absolutely on song last year in the Tour de France. I think the odds then on Greipel were around about 50 to 1. I waded in on that one, I might add. And yes, he can do it, Andrei Greipel. And now he's kind of off minding duties for Philippe Gilbert, which is what happened him last year. He really is the primary figure, certainly very much so here for Lotto Belisol, and he can deliver. Just watch that man. I think he's destined for a fantastic tour.
Yeah, well, he likes this race. He's come the last few years and done very well at it, so we see his sprint again. accent jobs, just go on the orange and the and don't mistake that for Rabobank. Gardini in the fluorescent yellow, just getting a wee bit boxed in at the moment, and just on the left-hand side for Saxo, you've got JJ Hado, but it's the right-hand side United Healthcare go with 500 metres to go. But just look at the lead out there. Problem for the Europcar team, but perfect lead out for Goss. And just look at Greipel. He's behind, I think it's Mark Renshaw. He just lights it up now, goes straight past Mark Renshaw and leaves him for dead. And he had got the jump in Goss as well. 200 to go, so it must have been close to 300 metres. Greipel decided, bang, this is the time. And look at the space between him and Matt Goss.
Just wider and wider and wider as he comes towards the end. That was just outstanding.
And it was Paolucci of Matteo Paolucci of Europcar that took the third place. Mark Renshaw in fourth, Schultz, Kiki again sixth place, Garnieri of Astana, Baggio and Gardini down there in 10th place.
Yeah, Rabobank marks Renshaw today, given the grace. But look at this. This is dominance, and Andre Greipel was in bullying mood today. Disappointed yesterday, certainly looks up for it. And just check out those calf muscles. They're special. Odds shortening rapidly on Andre Greipel as for the overall here. He can go over the mountains as well when he needs to. When we get to the more modest, lumpy stuff on stages 4, 5 and 6, he can get through there, and just watch him with the sprints that will end this Tour of Turkey as well. Greipel then. Same time as the rest. Almost feel that's slightly unkind. Such was the gap. Surely he could have had a second. Maybe not. They were really charging out there. Matt Goss second ahead of Paolucci. Good effort by the Europcar rider. Mark Renshaw was a good scalp for Paolucci. Andre Schultz for Etap, and Kiki there as well, making it into sixth place ahead of Garnieri, whose team were busy, I think you might say, today. Farnese Vini did a lot of work, but just kind of run out of gas. That man did not. Well, we've got a kind of a motorcade coming back the other way, all the security guys. It's been very well marshalled, this event so far, Brian. And I think if you're talking about marshalling everybody, that gap for Greipel there was something, wasn't it? What do you reckon? 2 bike lengths, a bike length and a half? Yeah,
same distance between the front three there.
Yeah.
And as we were saying, the Rabobanks were looking after Mark Renshaw today instead of Theo Boss, but an amazing sprint by Greipel. Took the best side of the road, as I said, the wind coming from the left to the right-hand side of our screen, and no way back for anybody after he went with 300 to go.
Well, the Tour of Turkey has done us so many favours, I have to say. It's the drama which they provided. We're not just talking about the backdrop here. Yes, it has been terrific. What a way to open up. I know that we had our crash yesterday, but just look at this part of the world. there are an awful lot worse places to go cycling. It is gorgeous, and so was this finish, especially if you happen to be a Greipel fan, which you may have gathered I most definitely am. Well, the Hordings were beaten up here by the fans today, which is exactly what they want. Slapping them home they were. As for Andre Greipel, well, he slapped the field about the face, I think, today. It was a little bit nervy out there because there was still a lot of fresh legs, Brian, after yesterday. Didn't really get a chance to show their stuff. Today he did.
It was difficult for a lot of teams to take control. Again, we thought it'd be a different sprint from yesterday, but for me it got a wee bit messy towards the finish. But you know, first three were separated by a few bike lengths, and you know, a great finish, a great sprint to the finish of this stage. But there's a lot of great racing still to come, especially tomorrow when we go into the mountains.
Well, I think we're about to get Andre Greipel for a brief chat. I suspect he might be speaking English, bizarrely. We'll see. He is a bit of a polyglot. We will... it'd be nice if we could have a word with the great man. If not, we'll have a word with him ourselves. There is our commentary position. Looks like a sort of a double stacked... Oh, here he is.
When you attacked, you went like a rocket.
Yeah, I just thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. Even I think it was 350 or 300 to go, but yeah, the first time I looked up, I was still 200 meters, and I was pretty tired then. But yeah, the last 100 meters I looked through my legs, and yeah, I couldn't see anyone. So yeah, it was a nice sprint, I think.
Listen, you're still out of breath. You've had a real hard ride there. You've beaten Matt Goss. You've beaten a very good Peluki in third place. And you've really beaten almost the cream of world cycling, because the field here in Turkey is pretty incredible for you sprinters.
Yeah, I thought before we started this race, there are 10 really world-class sprinters here. And yeah, I think I don't have... my lead-out train here, so we didn't put so much pressure, but still we wanted to win a stage, and yeah, we already reached our goal in the second stage.
Yeah, you've already reached your goal, but you want more. I know you. You want more stages here, Andre.
The circuit is a bit harder than the other years, and also the riders are better, so we just have to give it another chance. Yeah.
Andre, congratulations, well done. We'll let you prepare for the podium. Thank you.
The lovely Matt Rendell asking the questions. Yes, and delivered Andre Greipel. He delivered himself to the line. He's done the business here today. Yes, super work. And yeah, a man, I think, in his pomp at the moment. Just look at this. As you heard Matt Rendell say, there is a quality field here, and that was just outstanding.
He just got everybody in the hop there. 300 metres to go. I don't think anybody was thinking that anybody would go that far out, and you can just see the difference in the speed. And he's got the strength to hold it off. And Matt Goss will be again disappointed, second again for the second day running. But consolation is he'll keep his green points jersey.
Well, he might look one of the meanest riders out there when he's chugging away. But as you saw, take the helmet off and the specs, and he's a good-looking guy. And why not? Fantastic. Well, they say in Italy, if you're tall, you're already good-looking. Well, he's head and shoulders above the field, Andre Greipel, it seems, apart from Matt Goss. There we are. General ranking sees Matt Goss in the leader's jersey. And he'll be pleased about that. Andre Greipel taking the stage today. Greipel can get over some lumps, so he may well have something more than he's suspecting or letting on by the end. Well, it's been a pleasure to have your company. Just look at this. Hey, Brian, time to get the sun cream on as we head to the swimming pool. And maybe there's some riding. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. We're not going just yet. We've got some flowers, some kisses to deal with. So a change of lead, right, today? Just going through the podium now, but nonetheless, a change of lead. Matt Goss is our new leader. Theo Boss just tumbling down the order. We'll be seeing him hopefully in just a few moments' time. It looks like we are going to be staying with you for a little while longer, so we'll just put the respite on hold just for now. So Matt Goss is our GC. He is our leader. Second home today. So this is kind of today's podium, if you like. Andre Greipel will be called up in just a moment's time. Any further thoughts, Brian, on a stage winner's jersey for the following day? I always think that it should happen. We've suggested a checkered flag jersey or something like that, which should be adopted. Any thoughts?
Don't like it at all. Not good for the sponsors. But you just say Palucci, I don't think it counts. He jumped onto the second place podium, and I think Matt Goss had to come on the Aussie and tell him, get off that, that's mine.
I personally think that a rider should, once you win a stage, especially on an event such as this, you should have some kind of jersey recognition in its own right. I'm sure you'll decide to join us on that one in terms of conversation on Twitter. Carlton Kirby or Bry Smithy are the titles. There's his team, just waiting to see him. I think they've... I'm not going to... I think we said this last year. That theme tune appears to be taken from a famous American film company. I hope they've got the rights to use it. Andre Greipel, then. It is. He is our winner today of stage 2. But the leader's turquoise jersey will be worn with honour and distinction by Matt Goss, who finished second today. So Matt won't be too upset. He'll be back up here in just a few moments' time. Are we going to get anthems? Coral Bale says it was the 20th Century Fox theme. Yeah. I remember last year they got these bags, and the winner really did get a much bigger bag than everybody else, so they've sort of padded them out a bit today. It seems. Andre Greipel taking the applause today, and we are about to take our leave. It seems that time has beaten us. Don't forget, tomorrow we are heading up and into the mountains. The 48th Tour of Turkey, the Presidential Tour. Today, no doubt about who was the boss man. It was Andre Greipel. We've enjoyed it. Hope you did too. We're heading up to the sky tomorrow. From me, Carlton Kirby, and from Brian Smith, thank you for your company. We look forward to it again tomorrow. For now, though, from the sunshine of Turkey, it's bye-bye.